Hello, this is my next video for using i3s. So we've now entered in our data and annotated our images. And now I'm going to do an analysis comparison. So we need to do a batch compare, and we're going to choose the directory. Okay, so we're going to be looking into this database, i3s database. This is the database that I've saved our image is into for Western codes. So it's processing. This message comes up. You can ignore this and just hit OK. So now there's the batch results, 1933 CSV. And then we're now going to do a processing of them. There's the most recent batch compare. And it comes up. And what you see here is an image on the left and your image is on the right. It has a score. This is a similarity score. So -1 means that you don't have any similarity. And as you can see, I should have spent some time going through, and I have done that in other databases, but not in this example where I flipped the images so they're all facing the same way. However, you can still go through and compare your images. Now I'm just going to go and through a couple examples here. I'm going to fast forward to go through a very good example, I think, of comparing your images. So here we see the Western toad on the left, which is going to be compared using a pairwise comparison with all the other Western toads that are in the database. So right away, what I usually do is I try to look at the pattern and get familiar with it. Even though we had coded in on the belly, now we are open to using any other feature on the Western toad that might provide an identification of the individual. And you can see right away there are some patterns under the chin. Um, and you can see here this individual has no markings, so obviously that's going to be a non-match. And then I try to look finer at some things that, and even try to imagine what the pattern might be. So um, here we might consider that this is kind of an anchor, and here we have a very dark spot in the middle. So I kind of use that as my key guide. So I'm looking here. No, don't have a single spot and don't have an anchor. That's what I imagine that pattern to be. Now this is a Western toad, that was poorly photographed at the beginning of the project, 2014, but I still included because you might find this pattern um, in some of the individuals. We don't have a dot here, no single dot. And you can see that it keeps on doing a pairwise comparison through all the individuals. And later on, this individual will be sitting over here, and this individual will be sitting over here. So you go through them many times over. So your chances of seeing a shared images increase. And so we keep going through. You can see that there's no single dot, no single dot, nope, nope, not a match, not a match. And there is a single dot here, but we don't have the anchor kind of pattern here. No, not a match, not a match. Now we have a match and a score of 0. But as you can see, this is actually the same individual, AVO55. And that's what this is right here. This is the same individual. So we have a match. The software identifies that. Um, and we continue to proceed. That is not a match. We look here. We have a dot. We have a solid dot. We have what appears to be an anchor here. We have what appears to be an anchor here. And I look out, wow, there's actually a matching dot out here. And these patterns seem to match. Okay, so we have a suspect. Now let's do a detailed comparison, have a closer look at this. So click on the code on the right, and then we come in and we get into this detailed comparison window. So now, using my mouse roller, I can zoom in or out on different spots. So let's use this spot end as a marker. And we got the top here of that anchor. We're going to come in on this individual. We're going to look at this spot. Maybe zoom out to something that might look similar to what we have up here. And oh, look at that. This actually looks very suspiciously similar. So we look here and we have a pattern. We have 2 dots here, 2 dots here. We have this spot here with a little bit of yellow. This spot here, a little bit different here, but and it matches the general pattern. This is the hook. So, you can see actually there's some folds on the skin. So this individual's bent a little bit differently here. And if you had a bit of a bend, then that actually pattern matches in this spot. Now let's look at another area. Let's look back here at the belly where it's not as bent. And look at that, a very precise pattern match. We have a matched individual. And I think that you would agree. There are some minor changes, but for the most part, this is a very strongly matched individual. Now we can look in, maybe even look back here at the rear of the vent, maybe, or let's even go up into this kind of area. And we would do the same in here. So we have the vent, and then we move forward, and we see something that's similar. It's a little harder using this area, which is why I have opted not to, but here we go. We can actually see it here. We got this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot, and these two, these two. So the probability is that this is a match. So then we would include this in the database, and we would rename the file to indicate that that individual is a matched individual. And that is how you get a matching with the i3S pattern software. When I do this, I also write down on my hand note on the side on a piece of paper that I've matched, and then I later cross-reference that through my database. And that is it. Thank you.